Good evening and welcome to Affordable Housing Matters. Tonight, Fred Johnson from the New Orleans Neighborhood Development Foundation will update us on the properties available in the VA Hoffman Triangle. Also in New Orleans, there is a group of powerful women teaming up with Habitat for Humanity to build beautiful homes in the New Orleans area. Valuable information coming your way. You are watching Affordable Housing Matters on WLAE.
A new team, new editorial resources.
The same objective analysis of the top business news of the day.
Every weeknight, complete market coverage.
With the business and economic stories that are crucial to you.
Nightly business report.
Weeknights at 5:30 p.m. on WLAE.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity is partnered with the Potential of Women Entrepreneurs Realized, or POWER, by Fidelity Bank to hold their annual Women's Build event. Joining me now to discuss how women are taking a proactive step in serving their communities are Avery Beuerman of Habitat for Humanity and Liz Broekman, Director of POWER by Fidelity Bank. Ladies, welcome to Affordable Housing Matters.
Thank you.
I'm excited about this. This is very new. I mean, this is like right hot off the presses, right?
Yes.
So everyone's heard of New Orleans Habitat for Humanity, but probably not this Women Build event. So tell us about the Women Build event.
Yes. So, all these years in New Orleans, really post-Katrina, we had amazing volunteer numbers, and all of these people were coming here to support our city. But we realized that one thing was missing, and it was the power of women. So we were bringing all these different organizations and schools together to support our work, but we really were missing out on the chance to bring women together. So this is our second year doing Women Build. Last year we built one home, and this year we're actually doubling our impact and building 2 homes in the lower 9th Ward for 2 cousins, Keena and Brittany.
Wow, that is exciting.
It's very exciting.
And you were saying earlier before we started this broadcast that this has really caught on like wildfire.
Oh yes, the women in business, the Power program has been catching on. Yeah. We were involved in Habitat last year, the first year, and we hadn't even established Power yet. It didn't actually launch until October, but once we launched Power, it's been an incredible response. People are coming to us, asking us how to get involved, and seeing that we're filling that need in the community.
So what was the genesis of this start? How did it come about? What made you think of it?
For Power?
Yes.
It was some research that was being done. We did some focus groups on with women in business. And we kept hearing the words connect and learn, and so our focus is on building relationships, and that's what the key is the relationships.
So what are the challenges facing empowering women?
Well, women in business, they face the same challenges as men, but we approach it differently. So women are very verbal. We want to communicate and collaborate. So Power has really been the platform for women in business to come together and share those challenges and talk about meaningful business.
Is there something significant about women when it comes to building community?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think Liz touched on it so nicely that when we have women on a construction site together, they're talking about these same issues. They're building these very dynamic and deep relationships. And they're also learning that women can do everything men can do. It might take a little bit longer or one more step, but they can do everything that men can do. And so what Habitat does through Women Build is provide an opportunity for women of all backgrounds to come together to build these homes for members of our own community. So we're women building houses in partnership with other women, and that makes a huge difference.
Did you have any idea that it would take off like this?
No, we did not have that idea when we first did Women Build last year. In fact, the reason we're doing 2 houses this year is we were not able to accept all of the women last year that wanted to participate. So this year, 2 houses allows more opportunity for more women to come together.
So, and numerically, how many women are we talking about?
We have there will be a total of about 600 to 700 women that come together.
Wow.
Yes, to build these homes. And it all happens over 12 days. So it's what we call an accelerated build.
I should say so. This is quite something to happen in just 12 days.
It
Ground
is.
up. The whole house.
The whole
house.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So you look back at this in wonder. You know, it's like, how is this possible? This is almost magical.
Pretty incredible.
It is very incredible. And Habitat has a really strong background of having powerful women part of our work. So we're actually founded by women, and we usually have female construction leaders who are building these homes along with volunteers, as well as female AmeriCorps members who are learning the trade of construction and can lead volunteers.
So what are the chances that this is probably has the potential of becoming a model for the rest of the country?
It's interesting. It actually already is happening in a lot of Habitat affiliates across the country, and is really successful because, as Liz touched on, I think women are feeling more empowered and they want to speak out and do more in their communities. And Habitat affiliates are finding ways to provide that opportunity for women. Liz,
this is something that Fidelity has rolled up its sleeves and really gotten its arms around. So how does Fidelity play a part in this phenomenon of women?
Well, with Habitat, we go out, we have our own day, we have our own team. We go out and cook, we build, we climb ladders, we are using screwdrivers and power drills, and it's a great way for us to give back to the community. We really enjoy that. We have many volunteers that come aboard and get involved with it.
So how do you reach out to them? How do they find you?
Our team?
Yes.
Well, our team is our employees. So.
Oh, really?
It's our employees, yes. And we, Fidelity gives 12 hours of paid time to our employees to volunteer in the community.
Actual paid time?
Yes. So
wow.
They are paid to not paid to volunteer, but they're allowed to go during work hours to go and volunteer in the community. And that's one of the things that I love about where I work, is that we give back so much. We're here for good, and that means a lot to me.
So how do you reach out to the community at large to get involved?
Well, we are constantly in the community, whether we're sponsoring events or organizations like Habitat. We're very visible in the community. Our employees are visible. They are constantly volunteering for other things, not just group volunteer experiences, but others. They do individual things too.
Wow, this is great. Can people still sign up or donate?
For Women Build, yes, absolutely. If anyone wants to volunteer or donate, they can go to NOLAwomenbuild.org, and they can sign up for a day, so they can come and an individual can come and volunteer with us. Also, if you'd like to support the build, we are definitely still accepting donations, and that can be done online as well.
And where do they find you online?
Our website is www.nolawomenbuild.org.
And of course, no donation is too big, right?
No donation is too big or too small, to be said for that. It's important to remember.
So far, the emphasis has been on women. How can men get involved?
That's a great question. We actually have this really fun club.
Oh, really?
That's called the Pink Tutu Club for ways that our gentlemen can get involved in Women Build. So, men, if they have time in the mornings, they can come help with parking and setup. If they have time over lunch, they can help serve lunch. In the afternoon, they can help with breakdown of the site. There's lots of stuff they can do. So they can find that information online as well.
So do you have to wear a tutu?
Maybe not a tutu, but we have pink aprons and pink visors and all sorts of fun stuff for our gentlemen that come and join us.
What kind of reaction are you getting from the men?
They're actually really excited.
Really?
Because so many of these men want to support the women in their life who are a part of this build. So, it's easier for them to come out and give a little bit of time in the morning. But we find that in the afternoons, a lot of fathers will bring their children out to the build site just to watch. They just want to see mom kind of in her magic building. And then we also find that men who come out are shocked that women have done as much work as they have. So it's really incredible to kind of watch unfold throughout the 12 days.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I'm shocked, but I'm really impressed that you can do this from the ground up in 12 days. Now, do you actually go out, Liz, and roll your sleeves up to get involved in this process?
I was up on a 12-foot ladder last year.
Oh my goodness!
And I learned how to hang fascia and soffit, and I didn't want to tell my husband that I knew how to do that because he might ask me to do it at home. But it's crazy what we were accomplishing.
Now, is this a metropolitan-wide area? Metropolitan area-wide effort, or is it?
Yes,
it is, absolutely. Yeah. We have women coming from all over New Orleans, and we actually have one team that are flying in from New York. They're fellows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're graduate students, and they found it, and they wanted to come to New Orleans and do something. It's a women-based fellowship program, and so they're actually coming down to build for a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is really inspiring. To know that there's the spirit of volunteerism to this extent out there.
There is.
What is the one thing that you want your audience to know?
About Habitat, I think that one thing we always want to express to people is the fact that these families that we serve, they are actually buying these homes. Habitat does not give houses away. So these families are working hard to achieve this dream of home ownership, and they actually will pay a mortgage, which Fidelity services all of our mortgages. So at the end of the day, all of our homeowners, which is over 600 homeowners, can go to any Fidelity branch and pay their mortgage. So they are, citizens contributing to the growth of our community.
Liz, what is the one thing that you want them to know about Fidelity's involvement?
That we are here for good. We're here to give back to the community and to see the women that we build for, to see the joy in their face when that house is built, and that they can move their family in, and they're doing this on their own, and they are paying a mortgage now, but they're doing it on their own, and they've had the help of all of these powerful women helping them. It's inspiring to them, and it helps them to spread that message as well.
I get the sense that there are a lot of single home women out there, single family women out there. So this is actually an effort for women to reach out to assist women in need.
Yes, it is.
It's all about building each other up. And that's really incredible.
Well, thank you for sharing with us today. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the future. You're off
Come out to our build.
I know, Norman, come out and join us one day.
But you don't want me around tools. I can tell you.
That's okay.
That's okay. You can show up anytime.
All right.
Come and see.
I'm a great supervisor.
Yes, good.
Okay. Thank you, Liz Broekman, Director of Power by Fidelity, and Avery Beuerman, Assistant Director of Advancement, New Orleans Habitat for Humanity. Thank you much for being here.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Coming up right after this break, a friend of Affordable Housing Matters, Mr. Fred Johnson of Neighborhood Development Foundation. Don't go far.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
For more than 30 years, the New Orleans Neighborhood Development Foundation has been educating consumers and preparing them to successfully navigate through the home buying process. With me now is the CEO of the New Orleans Neighborhood Development Foundation, Mr. Fred Johnson. Fred, welcome back to Affordable Housing Matters.
Thank you, Norman. Thanks for having me.
It's always nice to have you here because you bring with you valuable information, and you've been teaching or preaching for the past 30 years, trying to get people to stop renting and start buying, because home ownership is the key to wealth.
Yes, it
and
is.
you carry with you these cards.
Yes, I do.
Explain these cards for our viewers.
Every place I go. Well, it's simple. and from the outset, let me just say, homeownership is not for everybody, and we don't promote that. We say to single parents, married couples, if you want to create an asset to pass on to your children, one of the certain ways to do that is to stop paying someone else's mortgage, learn to pay your own mortgage, begin to build an asset and equity in that property. We're all going to die. You can't take nothing with you, and you can't send it on ahead. So this is what you get to pass on to your children, and your children get a start much higher and much stronger than you did. Now, we're going to be certain to make certain our children get an education and get some kind of training. But in addition to all of that, if we can help create an asset, that means the next generation will be less poor. After years and years of doing this work, Norman, I realized that what I was really doing was trying to take a pinch out of poverty. Not a bite, but a pinch.
That's how you eat an elephant, one pinch
yes,
at a time.
That's how the ant beat the elephant. That's right, one pinch at a time.
And the Neighborhood Development Foundation has begun many projects to assist people in their home buying effort. One of them is the VA Hoffman Triangle.
Right. Well, my predecessor, Ross Pescio, saw fit that we were housing people, training people, educating people, and they were buying all over the city. But Neighborhood Development Foundation, at that period in the history, had not had a location or a neighborhood that we could service. So we started in Hoffman Triangle, and we built 24 new houses. Going forward, the city had to move the properties off of the VA footprint, and I was asked by the city managers if I would be interested in helping them and helping NDF at the same time, and I said sure. So we were able to create an agreement whereby we took maybe 14 of them, 10 or 14 of them, and began to renovate them and put them back into the marketplace. And I'm happy to say this morning, within the year, one of them is sold, 3 of them are under contract, and another 3 is to be sold shortly. So they're blowing and going. And Hoffman Triangle is an very interesting location, because now, whether we want to accept it or not, or understand it or not, but real estate is and always will be location, location, location.
Right.
So when you look at Hoffman Triangle, you have the boundaries of Martin Luther King on one side, Tyler Down on the other, Claiborne on the other, Broad on the other, and there is a revolution of things that's happening from Broad Street all the way to Claiborne, and not to mention the proximity of it. It's accessible to the interstate east or west. You can get to Metairie, you can get to the airport, you can get to the Big Ochsner location. All of the hospitals are near. The CBD is a stone throw away. The river front, the French Market, it's all close. Which is one of the beautiful things about New Orleans, and what make people love New Orleans is the food, the music, the hospitableness, and the proximity of things. You don't have to drive and be in the traffic gridlock forever. So we've gone back into Hoffman and taken on these properties. I need some help from the city managers to improve streets and improve drainage and do those sorts of things. And I expressed that to Mayor Landrieu, and I've expressed that to Mayor-elect, that we can fix the houses, but I can't fix the infrastructure. Now, I'm certain if you gave me the budget,
you could probably.
Yeah,
because you've done a great job with these houses. I'm just looking at them on the television screen. They're beautiful.
I've been around long enough, Norman, to know that the only thing money can't do is bring you back from the dead.
And they're working on that. Yeah. Tell me about the price range of these houses.
Well, they start as low as $125, right? And that's two beautiful little houses. Well, one is $125, one is $145 in the first block of Jackson, right off of Claiborne. So someone who's a real Zulu parade goer, warrior, they would love to get that spot because for Mardi Gras, you couldn't be no more located than that. And they go up to $215, and they vary in between. But one of the approaches that we've taken when we touch a house, Norman, is staff and I look at it is we have to complete this house as if we're going to live there. When you take that position, Norman, you can't go wrong. But when you create in your work mind or in your being that you're going to create a space for them and us, then you begin to have problems. No, we want a place that we ourselves, we want to create a place within affordability that we ourselves would not have a problem with living in.
You're talking about affordability, but you're also at the same time talking about maintaining quality.
Yes,
quality
sir.
of construction.
Yeah. Yes,
so,
sir.
So how does one qualify or become eligible for one of these properties?
Well, you would call 504-488-0155, and whoever should answer the phone, Pebbles, Patricia, Roz, Washington, or myself, and then we'll take you through the spiel of what's next. All appointments are by, all interviews are by appointment. Everybody has to be interviewed. You would pull your documentation together because we created whereby we want you to understand it's not a welfare program. It's a self-help program. So you have to have certain things. You have to have a Louisiana ID, your last 2 pay stubs, your last 2 bank statements, your last 2 check stubs. If you have minor children, you should also bring the copies of their birth certificates. You make copies, and these are all things you should have anyway. And this is how we separate the serious people from the not so serious people. So these are your documents you should have. Compile them, copy them, don't give us originals, call, schedule an appointment. You come in, it's $100 for the first interview. We don't take cash, it's a money order check, and we pull a three-pronged credit report, and we look at your strengths and weaknesses, and from that point, we give you a work plan as to what you need to clean up and push the credit scores up, or whether you need to file bankruptcy and start all over again, or no, we can start you in the Homebuyer training course, and at the end of the course, we'll give you 4 lenders, and you go to the lender, get pre-qualified, and then you start shopping for the house you want based on what you can afford. We don't pick houses for you.
You mentioned Homebuyer training course.
Yes, sir.
What's that about?
That is to help the buyer to understand how to go from home rent and home ownership. I call it a demystification process. I would teach the first 4 hours. It's a 3-hour course every evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, once a month. So Monday, I would teach the first 3 hours. Tuesday, I would teach 1 hour. But in those 4 hours, I'm going to teach rights, responsibilities, and privileges. I'm going to do my best to set the temperament of what's coming behind me and how home ownership is completely and totally different from rental. And also to inspire them to understand that, listen, whether you thought about it in this manner or not, you're already paying a mortgage.
That's right.
What you haven't thought about is the fact that you're paying a mortgage for someone else. So now we want to get you to start thinking about how you want to shift that dichotomy and get yourself situated so that you can pay a mortgage for yourself. And in the beauty in the mortgage, it has an alpha and an omega. In a rent, there is an alpha, but there is no omega.
That's right.
Right? So when we break it down like that, and it's not a test-driven training. The test is on you because we don't do for you what you're not willing to do for yourself. We're going to incite you, excite you, stimulate you, motivate you, encourage you, but we can't possibly do for you what you're not willing to do for yourself. And typically the way I wrap that is I have a lot of single female head of household clients. And I says, listen, I'm not player hating your man or your lady or whoever. I need you tonight to look in the bedroom where your children sleep and ask yourself, are you satisfied with that arrangement? Now, if you're satisfied with that arrangement, let's keep moving. If you're not, then you're going to come back and we're going to get on the grind to clean you up, build you up, and get you ready so that you can become bankable, because, Norma, none of this happens without money. None of it happens without money. And I was saying to the lady outside, we've been around long enough, and April 15 is 33 years for me. We've been around long enough that I know that we had a period where interest rates on a mortgage was 17%, right? Folks, purchase prices was low, money was high, so folks who could afford it bought it, held on to it, refinance. But what's interesting to me is how the funders keep moving the money.
Yeah.
And as I said to you earlier, where you live is essential to the growth and development of you and how you act and interact with everybody that you meet and greet.
We're going to have you back to continue this conversation, because you have definitely piqued my curiosity.
Yes, sir.
As to how the funders keep moving the money. That's the subject for our next show.
That's fine. And I just want to say is I don't understand who advises them. And I know we have a lot of needs, but essentially where you live, I don't know, what's more essential than the toilet you sit on and the face bowl you wash your face in and the kitchen you sit into to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Well, you always have an interesting way of bringing your point home. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
We'll have more Affordable Housing Matters right after this. As always, we would like to thank all of our guests for joining us this evening on Affordable Housing Matters. On next month's show, we will have a special hour-long program starting at 9 p.m. The mayor-elect, Ms. LaToya Cantrell, will be here to discuss her plan for providing affordable housing for the city of New Orleans. It will be a show you don't want to miss. Also, remember, if you would like to rewatch this or any other episode of Affordable Housing Matters, go to WLAE.com and click on the programming link. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Norman Robinson. Have a good night.